So my name, Garrett Bush. I am a process engineer at Cirrus Aircraft. I went to Hermantown High School and I grew up in Hermantown, so right down the road. Didn't go too far. Double majored in mechanical and industrial engineering. I'm in the paint department, paint and detail department, so it's kind of an interesting occupation here at Cirrus because a lot of our engineers are split up in SR, which is our prop plane division, and then the SF-50, our production jet that we're releasing now. Well, paint and detail departments, we handle both. So everything related to the jet that is coming in is all brand new. It's a brand new process. So basically they're handing that to me and saying, make a process, define a process, and then make it more efficient. Many hours of persistence and lots of good planning. So starting out back in high school, actually, I don't want to go back too far, but I always had a plan in mind, in the back of my mind. From studying to picking the right classes to just everything that I've done has been planned out ahead of time. I couldn't afford to go to school otherwise. I come from a middle-class family, so I set a goal to myself that that's the only way I could go to school is through scholarships. So I knew I'm terrible at sports, first of all, so I knew I wasn't going to get any kind of scholarship that way, so I focused on my academics. Once again, comes back down to the planning. So my first semester, I was strictly mechanical engineering because that's the end I thought I wanted to take, actually. But the more and more, I made sure that I took intro to engineering classes my first semester to kind of get a broad sense of all of the fields that were out there. And when I started hearing more about industrial engineering, I always liked the business end of things too, money side, making things more efficient, that sort of thing. So I actually went to my advisor then and said, hey, how did these classes overlap with mechanical and industrial engineering? And it turned out they overlap really nice, and if you can get it in that early and ahead of time, it panned out where I could do it in 4 years. I had my eye on becoming an engineer ever since I was 12 years old, actually. When I grew up on a farm, and growing up around cantankerous machinery, always fixing things with my dad and my grandpa. So I actually wrote a letter to John Deere, the president of John Deere, and said, what's it going to take to become an engineer? Because that was part of my goal. I wanted to become an engineer and go work for John Deere. Practicing industrial engineering, so a lot of it is the people end. And I really enjoy that because I never thought of myself as being a teacher, but a lot of what we do in the paint and detail end, it's not really, there's not drawings, engineering drawings or a lot of specifications that you're going to. A lot of it is based on feel and look and final cosmetic acceptance. So you have to teach your technicians and your leads and your supervisors of what you want. What I would argue is find something that you like and that you're good at and emphasize that and go for it. Focus on that. In 10 to 15 years, I would like to see myself expanding either into a managerial position of some kind or either an engineering manager or a production manager, and eventually I'd like to start my own business at some point. Anything outdoors I enjoy doing, and a lot of people say it's kind of like a disease, farming. So now that I work here so I can go home and farm. That's kind of what I do, I guess. It's kind of weird, but yeah. Without the Alworth scholarship, I would have an additional $20,000 in debt, hands down. financial freedom. That's what the Alworth Scholarship gave me.